everyone, Sheryl Alyssa for Urban Akron. Today I am interviewing EuFrancia Lash, who is running for councilman in Ward 4, which is in West Akron, Ohio. Before we go to commercial break, I would like to thank my sponsors, Tracy Lynn Jewelry. Holly Rando is the representative, and we'll be back to interview him right after this commercial break.
Gateway Healthcare Services is a certified and accredited home health agency owned by Dennis and Tracy Cox. We provide skilled nursing, psych nursing, physical, speech, and occupational therapy, as well as home health aides and homemaker services, and medical social services. We can train your family members to become paid caregivers under some of our programs. Gateway Healthcare Services is located in Akron and Columbus. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, Passport, private insurance, self-pay, as well as all waiver programs. To contact us, call 1-877-505-4337. 1-877-505-4337. Gateway Healthcare Services.
Hi, everybody. Sheryl Alyssa for Urban Akron. Today I'm sitting here with EuFrancia Lash. Is that correct? He is actually running for councilman in Ward 4, which is West Akron, correct?
That's
okay. EuFrancia, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am a lifelong resident of the Akron area, born and raised here. Went to a school that's actually in the heart of the 4th Ward, Rankin Elementary School. It's now closed down. Went out to junior high school, and then graduated from Central Howard High School.
Yes, I'm actually a graduate of Central Howard. Yes,
absolutely.
Eagles.
Yes.
Yeah, so then after that, after Central Howard, what did you do?
After Central Howard, I went to the University of Akron and majored in business and organizational communications with a emphasis on public relations, and was involved in many student organizations, and such as Summit County Democrats, Young Entrepreneurs, Black United Students, which I was very active in, and National Society of Black Engineers.
That is really great. Now, what year did you graduate from Akron U?
In 1996.
Okay. So, pursuing this, is this a dream for you? Is this like a dream come true? Is this something that you always wanted to do?
Actually, I go back to my 12th grade year.
Okay.
Mr. McBurney, Central Howard. I don't know if you had him or not.
Yes, I did.
So you know what I'm talking about. He taught government and politics.
Yes.
And I remember actually thinking about being a congressman back then. So those thoughts actually initially started back in his classroom. So as I went through college, I actually thought about, what I could do to contribute back to society, but just never found the right time or the right opportunity. So it's been in the back of my mind for at least, 25 years. This actually just presented, it just felt right, the right timing for me personally. And just with the conditions here in the city politically, the city is in need of some desperate change, and that's why I decided to offer myself to run in this race.
That is really good. I am so proud of you, and I'm
Thank you.
serious. It's
Thank you.
like, Akron, we need more people to, just as far as, trying to build up again the community.
Sure.
To network with one another.
Absolutely.
And to make it better. Now, as far as your parents, like, what is your parents, are they excited for you to run this race, or?
I really haven't engaged that conversation with my father. I believe he's proud, but he hasn't really, shared it. My mom is pretty excited. They have, they've been here all their lives as well, and they've been a part of this community, raised me and my siblings. So I believe they're excited. I think they understand the political environment, how nasty it can be sometimes.
Right.
And of course, I'm their son. I mean, they care about me, so they don't want me to get out there and get but I'm a big boy, so
right.
I don't mind the political engagement and some of the things that you run into during our political discourse. So they're excited. I believe my siblings are excited. They're very supportive and wishing me well.
So, as far as like when you first started, like what made you say, I want to go ahead and run for councilman for Ward 4? Like, seriously, like what was the first thing in your mind? What made you say, I want to do this?
Well, there have been some things going on in city council and at city hall, and I had been observing, over a period of time, just actually seeing the political discourse, some of the interactions between some of the council people and the prior administration. And my thoughts were, we can do better than this. We can actually do better than having all the rancor that you actually you see and you hear about in the paper, and that you actually see on some of the council videos. And I just determined in my mind, I said, I can do better than that. And to me, the environment down there had become so toxic.
Yes.
And I mean, it's so toxic and it's so undesirable that I think that Akron is a great city. I think Akron can put a better presentation as far as our leadership.
Yes.
And we're at a critical point in our history where we have, for the first time, we have having a mayor for 28 years not on the ballot. We have some candidates who are on the ballot for the first time as mayor, and you have all 13 council seats. So those individuals are going to be determining the future and the direction of our city. And I feel that I have the leadership qualities and characteristics to assist in those transitions and some of those decisions for our city. If we're going to reclaim greatness, which I believe Akron is a great city, but in order to get back to where we need to be, I think you have to have the right people around the table in order to get there.
Yes, and you know what? You're absolutely correct. I think Akron is a great city as well, and even just like downtown, if you look around, they've built up a lot of buildings down here.
Sure.
I think is a lot of it comes from networking. They have Lock 3, Lock 4,
Sure.
different things like that. But what I want to ask you is, real quick, how do you feel about the mayor? Like all of a sudden, he resigned.
Sure.
And I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, just to start off, I will tell everybody that I have a lot of respect for our former mayor, Don Pasquale. I think that because of him, we have some of the things here in the city that we do have. Now, I know a lot of people, depending on who you talk to, they give you various sides and their observations of how he ran the city and his leadership style. But I think that he had to do what he had to do in order to get some of the things done. I mean, if you recall, before his leadership, you remember downtown Akron at that time and how downtown was and some of the other parts of the city before his leadership. So I think some of the things that he had to do and the way he ran and he led actually developed into some of the things that you see around us right now, and us keeping Akron alive the way he did.
Oh, yeah, because I think he was great. You know what I
Yes,
mean? I think
absolutely.
he was great, and whoever takes that position, I hope they'll be able to, live up to his standards.
Sure.
Because like you said, he was our mayor here in Akron for a very long time, So that speaks volumes
Yes.
to me. So West Akron, you said you grew up in West Akron.
Absolutely.
And how are you feeling just on West Akron side alone? How are you feeling about that side of town? What do you think that should be done to make it better?
Well, first of all, I love West Akron. I've always lived in West Akron, which actually goes back to one of your former questions as far as what actually prompted me to run. I've been a lifelong resident of West Akron, and one of the reasons why I wanted to run is because there has been no new development. There's been nothing new. I mean, Ward 4 represents a large voting block here in the city. And because of that, I believe that the residents in the 4th Ward deserve more. And if you go into the 3rd Ward, you see some of the newer buildings and new development that has taken place in the 3rd Ward. You go to right down here on West Market Street, and you see the brand new Mustard Seed, which is a phenomenal.
Yes,
it's a phenomenal facility. I love to eat there. It has revitalized that whole area in Highland Square.
Yes,
and you can even go to other parts of town that have had some new development and it's basically been revitalized. Well, if you go into my ward, Ward 4, what has happened? What has occurred? I mean, and that's what actually kind of has gripped me and gripped my heart. I want to see that same type of development take place in my ward. I think that we're deserving of it. We have a rich heritage and history in the 4th Ward, and we're deserving of that. We're deserving of the leadership that it's going to take in order to get those things done. Right now, we don't have that.
Okay.
And right now, Ward 4 is being deprived, and we need a leader who can deliver.
And that's you.
I believe
That
so,
is you.
absolutely.
Yes. As far as your campaign, what are you guys doing, to, make your campaign successful?
Sure. Well, I think right now what we're doing is a lot of grassroots. We're going door to door. We're actually visiting and going and walking throughout the neighborhood, trying to spread the message, trying to raise awareness that I am out here as a candidate. I'm a serious candidate, and that's one of the things we're doing. We're also doing some mailings and trying to do some PR, tactics to just to make sure people are aware that there is a candidate here in the 4th Ward that's going to actually work for them. and going to have their best interest. So that's what we're really trying to do, and we have some other things that are coming up between now and the primary.
Okay, that sounds really good. So my last question for you: you tell the audience, exactly what it is that you want to see happen, as far as success, as far as your campaign for running for council of the fourth ward.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank the Akron, you all for inviting me and inviting me to this interview. The reason why I'm actually running is because my heart is in the fourth ward. I believe that Ward 4 deserves more. We deserve delivering leadership that can deliver on the promise that we've been made. We've had a lot of broken promises over the years, and we need a leader who can actually deliver on that. One of the things that I've learned in observing city council is that you need 7 votes in order to make anything happen in the city. It takes 7 votes to make, to release funds for infrastructure projects, for municipal services. You need those 7 votes. And right now, our leader that we currently have cannot reach those 7 votes. I know that I can. I know that I'm a consensus builder. I actually believe in building relationships that are sustaining, and that's what I want to bring to the fourth ward. Not only that, you can't just be a candidate or a council person or representative that just shows up at events and just to show your face and wave your hand. You have to be a person who actually is about the neighborhood, interacting with block clubs, interacting with various city leaders in your ward to make things happen in your ward. That's what I want to bring to the ward. I want to actually engage my ward, be accountable as a leader as well, making sure that if my ward residents are not satisfied with something that I'm doing or any decision that I'm making, they can reach out to me and they can express that, and not be an inaccessible leader where they're calling, but they're getting no response. I think Ward 4 is deserving of better leadership than that.
You are excellent.
I appreciate
You are a
that.
very excellent candidate. I wish you all the luck in the world.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And you know what? And one more thing, too, before we go. People really need to understand, and you can let them know, the importance of voting. See, a lot of people don't vote. Mm-hmm. Some people have mixed emotions about voting. Sure. Some people just like, I'm not voting at all, You need to let them know the importance of voting.
Absolutely. Well, number one, people don't, as you said, don't realize the importance of casting their vote. And I always recall that there are many people who actually suffered as a result of the lack of being able, they didn't have the right. So within the past few years, I've actually trying to teach my children the importance of, casting a vote.
Yes.
Your votes determine your leadership. Your vote determines the future of your city, your state, your nation. So voting actually determines, your municipal services, who you have in these leadership positions, how fast they deliver their type of mentality, their philosophy on leading. And that's why it's so important, because it affects your life. The decisions that you make at the ballot affect your daily life. And I don't want to actually vote in people who are negatively affecting my life and not making the decisions that are not in my best interest. So that's why I emphasize to my children, to people that I know, the importance of getting out, voting for the right candidate. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for, because that's your own individual right, but it's important to vote for somebody who's actually going to stand up and speak for you.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys heard him. EuFrancia Lash, I thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you very much.
Again, good luck to you. You guys make sure you go out and cast your vote for him.
Absolutely.
And follow him and support him.
Thank you.
In everything that you're doing. I wish you much success. Okay?
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Sheryl from Urban Akron, and we'll see you next week.